my name's Jamie. Welcome to my channel, Jamie Reads. I felt compelled to say that because I haven't said that in literally forever. So if you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on my channel. I greatly appreciate you clicking. And if this is your first video from me, check out some of my reading vlogs. You'll get a little bit more in depth of a book if you watch my reading vlogs. But today is going to be Review Thursday. Which book I'm going to be reviewing is Drop Dead Gorgeous by R.L.Stine. And if you're new here, if you don't know, R.L.Stine is my favorite author. I love this man's work. Yes, he is problematic, but what author isn't problematic? And by problematic, I mean he's not weird and crazy out inside the freaking media like most, not like most authors, but some authors are problematic. And he talks about chubby kids, chubby people. He brings up chubbiness a lot. He also brings up the fact that there's a redhead a lot. So me and my friends have determined that a chubby girl who was a redhead broke Stine's heart, so he always incorporates them inside his books in some way, you know. That's just a theory. We don't know if it's true or not. We're just theorizing because we see the pattern in all of his books. So, yeah. So, Return to Fear Street, Drop Dead Gorgeous. This is the third book in the Return to Fear Street series. This one is about a girl named Morgan Marks. She's super popular. Everybody loves her. She's like completely gorgeous. She has these fantasizing eyes. Like she can like control you with like her stare and stuff. So we open this book up with a bunch of group of friends who are well, we truly open the book up with a diary entry from Morgan. But then after that, it's a bunch of friends. There's Julie, there's Dahlia, there's Liam, there's, I'm trying to remember all the characters' names. I'm so sorry if the camera moves. My son is jumping. I can't stop him. I'm sorry. And if I'm looking over there, it's because my son is over there. And that's why my focus isn't here. Just letting y'all know. Anyways, so it's about a group of high school friends. Like a whole group. And it starts out with them at a comedy club because one of their friends is trying to be a comedian. Even though he's not funny, he's trying to be a comedian. Most comedians, in my opinion, start out that way. So he gets on stage and he's doing his bit and everything, and there's one of the guys in the group. He sees Morgan behind them, sitting behind them, and he's like transfixed on her. He's like, ooh. And then another guy who's already dating one of their friends winks. He's like staring at her too. And then the main girl, Julia, she realizes, wow, I'm staring at her too. She is kind of hot, but like, stop being a dude and watch your friend. Like, we're here for your friend, or our friend. So it starts out with them also like, they like bring her over to the table and they start being friends with her. She tells them, oh, I'm new here. I just moved. I don't have many friends. So they end up being friends with her. So you jump to another scene inside the book where the same girl, Morgan, is hitting on one of the comedians that were at this bar. And this bar is full of literally people over 30, basically. And he's like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble. How old are you? She's like, oh, I'm old enough. And he's like, no, like he could tell. But she forcefully pushes him against the wall and she starts like kissing him and everything, and he gets like in a trance because of the way she smells and what she's doing to him. And one thing leads to another, and she starts biting his neck. And in his inner monologue, he's like, this is like an old vampire movie. I feel like I'm in an old vampire movie. Internally freaking out, but externally his like just thinking like super calm and everything. It's very weird. So you find out right out the gate that Morgan is a vampire. So you go throughout the whole book, and people close to these kids start dropping like flies. Some of the kids end up getting killed. I'm not going to tell you who. A parent ends up getting killed. So if you're not squeamish, but if you get triggered by parental death, maybe stay away from this or just skip that chapter. It's very in-depth. The main characters are super complicated and annoying because yes, they are high schoolers. Yes, this is technically teen, but like you could read Stine in anything because I still read Goosebumps, but it's a typical teenagers. Like, they're super naive, they don't know what's going on, they think they know what's going on, but they don't know what's going on. It's sort of that type of thing. So one of the big plot twists, I don't want to tell you too much, but there's two main plot twists inside this story. One of them was possibly a stepbrother. We don't know. He says he's a stepbrother, but you get to find out later on who he actually is. And then the next plot twist may or may not have to do with another supernatural phenomenon, creature thing, I will say. This sticker, by the way, because I know people are going to ask, is not actually from the book. I didn't buy this way. I put the sticker on because it had a Netflix sticker that you can't remove, and I hated that, so I just put this sticker to cover up the Netflix thing, and I think it works with the book. Okay, getting back to the review. I don't know, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil the book for y'all if you're wanting to read the series. They do read super, super fast, so if you're into a super fast read, I would say pick these up. Stine's books tend to read pretty fast for me, and I love that. I don't know which one is my favorite out of the series. I do know the first one is in spot 3. I would have to say, I don't know. I'm torn between putting this or the second one in the first spot. But I did like the second one a little bit more than this, only because some of the kids' dialogue in here was kind of boring. Like, you don't get really amped up until Morgan's part, until Morgan is inside the story. That's when the story starts to get pretty crazy and like fast-paced, is when Morgan shows up inside the story. When you're just doing the kids' dialogue, it's kind of boring, because they're just talking about typical teenager stuff. So you're like, yeah, I get it. Yes, I did stuff like this. Yes, I understand. I felt this way. But like I said, when Morgan comes in, because she is a vampire, you're like, you super fast. You see what's going on. All in all, I did give this book 5 out of 5 stars. Of course, I think I've only gave a couple of Stine's books, like maybe or 2 or 3. But the majority of Stine's work I have gave 5 stars because I absolutely love the way he writes characters. The story, he engages you so much in the story, and you see yourself at least in a few characters, or at least in one character. And that could be in these books, it could be in Goosebumps. I haven't read any of his adult books yet, but I'm going to get to them this year, and I'm super excited. I can't wait. So you also find out that Morgan is going under the name of someone else from her old school, from Shadyside High. You'll end up noticing, if you read a lot of Stine books, like his teen books, Shadyside is a town that he made in the Fear Street books, which is Fear Street. And Fear is a name of one of the, I don't want to say co-founders of Shadyside, but if you know the backstory, there is a witch, and her name was Sarah Fear, and she basically took her revenge out on people because they wrongly accused her of being a bad witch. So the Fears are enemies to the Good family, which you didn't see any Good family in here, which I was surprised, but it happens. I mean, this was more focused around a Fear, and her name was Morgan Fear. She ended up learning some spells because the Fears they know spells. They're like witches, they're warlocks. So Morgan also had a best friend named Morgan, but her best friend's name was Morgan Marks. So when she went to this school, they got the transcripts from Shadyside, but they sent the transcripts for Morgan Marks because that's who she said her name was. And the principal's like, that's not right because Morgan Marks died in a car accident. So that's not Morgan Marks. They also end up taking pictures with Morgan Fear, Morgan Marks, and they don't show up. Classic 101 of vampire lore. When you take a picture of them, they don't show up. So it's a typical thing. But these kids and Julie's mom doesn't think anything of it. They don't think she's a vampire. They just think she's a really beautiful girl. And Morgan also makes jokes about it. She's like, yeah, I'm a vampire. Yeah, I turn into a werewolf, blah, 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 like to throw them off. It's a very interesting book. For such a small book as it is, you get a lot of the story, and it's very impactful. There are 5 parts inside the book, but it's super fast, and you get some diary entries from Morgan, so that's a plus. So you get to see, have a little bit of her inner monologue throughout the book, so you know what she's thinking, you know her plan throughout the book, and you have to figure out if she's going to execute her plan or if something else is going to happen to convey her from her plan. So all in all, it's a very good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recommend you guys to pick these up, especially You May Kill a Bride and The Wrong Girl. They were really good. Also, I thoroughly enjoyed them. These are the first 2 books. They're very good, very enjoyable. Stine's work is so, I don't know, I just love R.L.Stine's work. So, if you have any recommendations, something similar to R.L.Stine, I heard that Christopher Pike is similar to R.L.Stine, so I might be picking up some Christopher Pike. We'll see what happens. But that is the end of this video and this review. Let me know if you've read this book, what you thought about it. If you want to pick it up, let me know down below. So, I want to say goodbye. Remember to be safe out there. Always be kind to each other. And remember, always go on your next book adventure. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
If I could begin to be half of what you think of me, I could do about